Okay, this is Ken Legner, the treasurer. I'm going to call the meeting to order.
We
last-
could stand just a short bit, Ken, of you doing a test 1, 2, 3, 4, and make sure we have our
the
now I'm
audio.
having fun with the telephone. I want to make sure the speaker is working correctly here.
Okay.
And
This
you
is
know,
Ken.
things like
1, 2, 3,
telephones,
4.
you
Can
can trouble
everybody
just
hear
when you
me?
don't want them to. Computers do the same thing. There we go.
This is Ken, 1, 2, 3, 4 test.
So can someone on the, Ken, do a 1, 2, 3 count for us?
1, 2, 3 count test. Ken.
Nope. Okay. Give me a second. Let me get it going.
Okay.
Need to get the speaker going.
We'll continue with the voting. I'm gonna call the meeting to order officially. Let's go ahead and continue with the voting. Jim, you have the floor.
Don't play anything else, dude. Let it roll. So Ken, if you could take care of communicating on the Zoom side, I actually have the tallies, the physical paper tallies, and I'm putting them in recording them right now. So Ken, would that be okay if you did that? Just let everybody know.
Sure. Okay. For all the people online on Zoom, if you haven't yet voted, the idea is to open the chat, send a direct message to Jim Bates. So you have to scroll through from everyone to find him in the list and indicate your preference for the vice president. There's Daryl or Joey. Those are the two that are running for vice president. And then all the other offices are not contested. If you don't want to vote for one of those, you can say, I abstain from voting for the treasurer, me, or whatever you want. Or you can say, I vote for all the uncontested people and I vote for, and then name who you want for vice president. Just send that in a little direct message to Jim Bates. He will record it and you will have voted. And you can't vote twice. Include your call sign. That just helps Jim find it if he gets confused on your name, or if your name doesn't have your call sign after it. So take care of that as we go through the meeting. And if somebody at the end of the business meeting still hasn't voted, we'll deal with you at that moment in time. So John, go ahead and start the meeting.
Okay, well, I'm going ahead and call it to order. Do we want to go ahead and go to business, or you want to wait for a tally on the vote?
I would go through the business.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that then. The first order of business will be the approval of the minutes that were in the last newsletter that just went out earlier this week. Is there anybody has any changes or corrections for the minutes? Okay, then, well, I just saw somebody light up. Jim W4 PKR, were you gonna say something? Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, in that case, if there's no corrections or adjustments to the minutes, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Max got his hand up.
Yeah, I saw Mac and
I'll
Mac.
just vote to approve the minutes.
Okay, who seconds?
I'll second it. KO4
Okay.
RNT, David.
All right, thank you. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
Here in the room, it was unanimous.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Bruce. Okay, Ken, I'm going to turn it over to you for treasurer's report.
Okay, treasurer's report. We started the month with $19,074 or $79.55. For some reason, I sent $6.60 too much to the insurance company, so they gave me a refund check. So $6.60 was deposited. We had dues of $88 come in. We took in some money for the FCC classes, $44 for that, and $64 for some books. So we had income of $202.60. And then we had to refund those two people that signed up for the tech class. So that's $44 that we sent out. For the people that paid through PayPal, we were charged $9.87. And the DNS for the backup website cost us $10.16. So $64.03 went out, leaving us $19,218.12.
Okay. I have a question for you, Ken.
Sure.
The books that we ordered for the tech class originally, the ones from the guy we were using last semester,
Yeah.
were those returned for credit, or do we still have them?
The ones, the instructors each have their own, because we gave them their book. And so they have it. I don't think we can send them back to ARR or to
5YI.
yeah.
I was going to see what I was going to suggest is that if the instructors don't want or need them, we may want to just go ahead and donate those to the library.
We gave the library, we ordered a set for the library
Okay,
already,
okay.
and they all have theirs.
Okay, all right. So,
So
all right.
it would be, if we hear somebody who wants to, not be able to, they want to learn, but they don't, it's November, December, and they want to take a class, we could, if the instructors don't want to, we could at least say, this is something that you could maybe do on your own. We actually are using a different book at this time, but at least it would be a current manual that they could have and make use of.
Okay. All right. What about new members tonight? Do we have any new members?
We have 3. Daryl Seal, call sign K04JGH. He's a tech. We have William Cobb, KNAB, call sign KN. I'm sorry, can't read today. K4NAE. He's an extra. And we have Wayne Scarberry. He's a tech. K9WVU. So those are the 3 that we have new tonight.
Okay. Somebody make a motion to accept these people as members?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the members.
I
new
second
members.
W4PKR.
Okay, plenty of people. Which one you want to take? Who was first? For the minutes. I had 3 people.
Pick one, John.
Okay, Judy, go ahead. You the motionee. Who wants to second it now?
Second.
Okay, Steve seconded W4SP. Okay, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye,
Aye.
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 Is it good on the other end, Bruce? Okay, good. They're accepted. All right. Congratulations to the new members.
John,
Yeah,
Bruce, can you hold just for a second? Jim, you want to ask the question again?
I just want to make sure everybody in here has voted and everybody on Zoom has voted. I just posted it in Zoom. So I give a couple more minutes, just make sure everybody's had a chance to vote.
okay. Did everybody hear that? If you have not voted, you need to go on the chat, open the chat window and send Jim Bates a message to go ahead and vote. He's got the vote open for 2 more minutes. All right, while we're working on that, does anyone have reports tonight?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Bruce.
a couple of them. It looks like we're not going to be teaching any exam classes this semester. I don't know how many years it's been since that's happened to us. It looks like it's part of the whole thing of how we get readjusted from the post-COVID sort of thing. The instructors, we've all had a little discussion online about it. We've got a query in ARRL to see what they're seeing, any ideas they've got. So we'll be kind of gathering as we get towards the later in the year, trying to figure out how it is we deal with getting people in and taking the classes. Now, this may be a temporary thing, just because of where we are in post-pandemic, but anyway, this is the first semester in what, 20 or 30 years that we haven't had at least one class. So that's that part of it. And then I was asked to do two other things. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go grab my paper. So the Boy Scouts, this weekend is JADA, Jamboree on the Air. The Scouts are gonna try to make as many contacts as they can. And the frequency for us to use is the simplex VHF calling frequency, 146.52. So over the next couple of days, they ask that you get on the air and you listen for that and help the Scouts get contact. So 146.52, there will be some announcements on the 88 repeater. Also, Matt Lyle has put out a brochure, which I will get in next month's newsletter. He's trying to invite Scouts and their parents to get licenses, and he's going to be working on that, and wants whatever help he can get from you all on it. So those were the announcements that I had. Thanks. Well,
Yeah, I have one. I forgot all about this, Bruce. Zoom desktop client for people running Unix is changing. They sent me an email. If you email me, I will forward you a copy of this. There's something you have to do, Bruce, since you did it, or I assume you have or will. You might want to just talk how hard it is to do.
Changing the encrypted key, the encryption key for the Linux version of Zoom. So my guess is it probably got corrupted someplace, and they've decided they want to reissue a new one. So if you're running Linux, and it may actually affect you in Chromebook, I'm not sure, but certainly for Linux, you'll need to download the new encryption key from Zoom. And you go out to their website and find it.
Oh, you can find it there? Okay. Or you can send me an email and I'll forward you the email that they sent me about it. So
That's probably the easiest way to do it.
yeah, either way. Anyway, hopefully anybody that needs it.
Y'all can still hear me because I had packets dropped before just a few minutes ago. Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going in and out because Comcast is dropping packets, and every time they do it, my camera and microphone cut out. So I have to keep rebooting the camera. Okay, Bruce, don't you have something we have to say about the roof work, or is that?
Oh, yeah. Let me turn this off. Well, Tom, you know what's going on with the roof, right?
Right, the roof in the next month, we are going to have to redo all the roofs from the church. And the air antennas will be down for a short period of time. The roofer will help us remove them and put them back, but it will be up to us to disconnect them. So the station will be down for a short period of time.
Okay. Tom, how will the church let us know when everything's complete?
They'll let me know. Kathy will call me, and we'll let everybody know. And I'll need a team up here. Steve already volunteered. We got a couple others. He can pull the electrical loose, move the antenna, and the roofers will take care of the mountain.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And we'll let everybody know, of course, when it's back up again. All right. Do we have any other reports or anything tonight? Anybody have show and tell for us or anything? Okay, any new business? Okay, then I'll go ahead and turn it back over to, I guess, to Jim to give us the election report.
Well, I'm still waiting on 2 people to tell me their vice president picks. So, Tom Ebert and Steve, guys, I need you to tell me who your VPs are.
Vote now or lose your right to vote.
Yeah, so I tell you what, if you're good, I got your uncontested, I got all that stuff, that's all good. But I just need to know if you want to vote for a VP.
I don't want to vote because I just don't know who they are. So
That's fine.
I'm just going to opt out and go with the group.
No,
Jim, which Steve?
that's fine. All right, so Tom, Ebert.
Yes. Hey, the 2 people, who were they? I'm sorry.
Daryl and Joey. I put it, it's in the chat window.
I'll go with Daryl.
Okay, all right, then voting is over.
New technology.
Tom.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how to make this Zoom and in-person stuff work. So far, this is better than last week's. Right. Of course, it wouldn't have taken the whole lot to get better.
One thing I did notice tonight when I was working on all of this, when the first time I came on through Zoom, Zoom was installing a new client too, so they may have some problems with their client. It's not the first time.
You know, someone was asking the other day, why we don't have a permanent Windows computer to use for this. The problem is, imagine once a month, you crank it up after you cut it down, and you wait an hour for it to update itself, so.
Right. At least we're not waiting on Windows updates tonight.
Right, all right. I got the results. It's a preliminary result, but it won't change because nobody's gonna bother with anything when it's done. So the results of the election, president. These are, Richard you got it. There's nobody running against him. Vice president.
Congratulations.
Exactly, the squeaker, yes. Daryl, congratulations. Dave is secretary, Ken is treasurer, and both directors, Armand and Warren, were elected. Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone.
Yes.
Thank you for your patience with me on that. I will give the officers and the board the results and all the documentation. And anybody can review it here. So
Thank you for doing that.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for doing it.
Yeah, Jim, thank you very much. I know you did a lot
Jim.
of research and work on that. We appreciate it.
It's mostly just pen and math at this point. Yeah.
Did you have to take your shoes off to count?
Would you guys like me to handle your light work over here?
Yes.
Okay, well, one more call for any more business for tonight. Anybody have anything? Then I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn, and we'll go to our presentation, which we didn't get to last time.
Motion to adjourn N4WLC.
Thank you. Anybody second it?
Second, and for JDI.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Mr. Bruce, the floor is yours.
Turn this camera.
Can I turn it on?
Yeah, down in the camera part of this thing.
You enable it so that he can talk.
Well, no, I want to talk to the group.
Is it plugged in?
Yeah, well, you should be able to find it on
It's plugged into the docking station through 6 USB cables. Yeah, so I don't see it.
Oh, I'm gonna try and follow if I possibly can.
It's plugged in. I'm just trying to get it to
Okay, guys.
Well, I had a red light, so it plugged in fine. It's just that you have to activate it down in the video. Pick that camera down in the video. And then it'll turn green, and then I know I'm on.
Speakers.
That was cool. Those speakers seem to be working pretty well.
Let me see if I can change the video. This is the camera.
Yep, there we go, so we got it.
It's-
All right,
Can you all hear Bruce now?
testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I'm clear.
Okay. So talk among yourselves for a second. Let me bring up the presentation, all right? The mumble or something, and then something.
Mumble, mumble, mumble.
Mumble, mumble, mumble. All right. What I'm going to do is tell you about the club's remote station. And I'm really going to use the slides that we use for the seminar.
Can't see the slides.
I know, because I haven't done it yet. I haven't got it.
Oh, okay.
All right, now you go down here and share the screen. And here's the screen. Okay, can you see it now?
oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the slides I use for the teaching remote station class. The way the seminar works, it's usually 2-hour sessions. I'm trying to stay away so I'm far enough away so you guys can see it. 2-hour sessions. The first one we kind of go through. You set it up. We do it with Zoom because there seems to be no advantage to doing it in person. It's all done on the computer anyway. So I take you through that part of getting it set up on your computer. We go through and demonstrate it. We look at all the possibilities. I'll quickly go through some of those slides. Then a week later, we get together for 1 or 2 hours and we do a couple of things. One, for you to be comfortable the way it's working. Then the other thing is that we show how to bring up logging programs and digital programs that you can hook up to the station. So you don't have to just do voice. You can do logging, you can do digital as well. You can do CW with it, and I have not tried it. Have you done it,
Yeah.
Jim?
Yep, you can.
Works pretty well?
Well, yeah, so it's kind of interesting. There's 2 ways to do it. You can actually do a key at home and you can tie it into your computer and actually through your serial port, and it will actually go through, will key up the remote system. So you can actually use a key, or you can cheat. You can go into a text window and you can type in what you want to send and it'll send it. So there's 2 ways to do it. Yeah.
And everybody would mail and cheats, but mail is like, well, no, you don't have to cheat either. Use a real key.
There's no decoding.
So anyway. All right, so this is what the station looks like. We've actually changed it a little bit. We were having, you may remember that early on, we had a lot of intermittent outages. And so we got together, K4RKO and me and Tom and Ken. And we went through trying to figure out what's going on. And we decided to move everything around. So we isolated the RF part from the computer part, because it was clear that we were getting some RF into the computer, and that's what was bringing it down. In the process of doing it, we discovered, and Mike discovered, that when we put a connector on one of the cables going up to the roof, we didn't get it on quite right, and we were getting RF leaks at certain frequencies. And they were getting into the Ethernet cable and killing the computer. So we got that fixed once we found it. And it's been, actually the only outages we have is, for some reason, Bon Air seems to get lots of power and FiOS outages. And guess what? The church is in Bon Air. So, every so often you'll have an outage. And usually the computer comes right back up again, but it takes 5 or 6 minutes for it to reboot. It is, after all, Windows, right? I'm a Linux guy, so I take all the shots I can. All right. So that's what it looks like. Here's the antennas. Above the cabinet, which is in a locked cabinet, above in that what's it looking for? The room that it's in.
It's a storeroom.
Yeah, storeroom. In the storeroom is a hatch that goes up to the roof. And you can't really see the hatch completely here, but where Mike is standing by that tower, the hatch is just kind of a little forward to him. And we have the 2 and 4, the 2 meter 440 antenna sitting there, and then we have the tuning box for the long wire. Okay. The long wire goes, and let's see if I can find a way of showing you. The long wire goes from, you can see my mouse, from there, which is where this piece is here, over across the courtyard and down here. It's a 94-foot non-resident piece of wire. And so this special tuning box here, icon tuning box, is how you tune it. And the thing you got to do when you use this thing is every time you change your frequency, you got to tune it. Okay, because it's not resonant. So you got to, the tuner's got to bring it back in. And I mean, you can't move that dial very much before you got to retune it again. And you'll see it. Okay. So this is the gear. It's a 7100, which means it does HF, 6 meters, VHF, and UHF. It actually has kind of 2 finals in it for 2 transceivers in it, one for VHF, UHF, and one for HF. Does 100 watts single sideband, 40, 50, and so forth. And then it has that tuner that you saw on the roof that's remotely controlled. And we have a Windows 7 PC. We are hoping that we can use the Windows 7 almost forever because it doesn't update itself all the time. So it doesn't take you down because it decided to update things. I'm not sure how long we'll get away with that. Now, this is the approximate way it's connected. You are here as a club member. Oh, if you're a club member, okay, you automatically have your credentials put in here. Ken is actually the guy that does it. He has your call sign, and then those frequencies that your license allows you to use. So if you're tech, you're going to have the VHF, UHF, 10 meter stuff. If you're extra, you're going to get everything, right? So basically, we use the machine here, the computer that we have here, to enforce the FCC rules on, okay? So anyway, you basically log in to the remotehams.com server. And it comes up with a big menu of stations you might listen to or use. Most of the stations you'll see require you to have some sort of membership, well, as is the case for us. But one of the guys who uses it heavily, John Drum, member of the club, moved to North Carolina to be with his kids, is in one of these senior places where you can't have anything. So if you see his ham shack, it's 3 laptops, right? So he'll get on this one. He gets on every morning at 40 meters to talk to his RV friends. And he checks it out by tuning into a open SDR receiver in Utah to make sure he can hear each other. So there are lots of receivers, SDR receivers around that you can use on this thing. So if you got 2 computers, you can listen to yourself. If you got that kind of an ego problem, go ahead. Anyway, once you're logged in here and you pick our station, then you go up here to our server and it hooks you up to 7100. And as far as I know, I don't know this for sure, but as far as I know, I think the communications there is pretty much direct at this point. You don't go through the server every time.
Yeah, the server is just a lookup.
Yeah.
It's a database. It's a registry for all active nodes.
Right.
So the connection is direct. It goes
Right.
direct from your internet connection to the router here at the church.
So their remote hams, the remote hams thing then is basically checking sure you are legitimate. And then hooking you up.
Yeah, think of it as a DNS server for active stations.
And all of us know everything about DNS servers, so we're all set, right?
Sorry.
You get that one?
Yeah, the other thing is so that's a computer base. It
Yep.
works great with an Android phone. So you can be in your car with Bluetooth, and you can be dialing around, driving around in your car on HF, and it works great.
Yeah, I know a guy who did that from, I think it was Denmark, or wasn't it?
It could have been.
Yeah, it could have been from Denmark. Yeah, I
I
knew.
remember talking to Ralph, and he's like, propagation's really good at that. From the 6 meter net, yeah.
Well, I have a home rig, so I don't, but I use this for the 80 meter net on Monday nights, because I don't have an 80 meter, my antenna will do 40, but no, nothing, nothing longer in wavelength. So it's good because it keeps me up using this thing. But it has pretty good ears and pretty good, I mean, we do pretty well. Everybody says they hear us.
Almost every Monday night, we go on there and we're talking to New Jersey, Myrtle Beach, where's Virginia?
And if any of you want to, once you get this thing set up, you're welcome to get on and you can listen. You can have multiple operators on it, right? And you can listen to somebody else having communications. I keep thinking we could do some of these contests. We could do one single station multi-operator sort of thing. I was talking to a couple of folks up on this, not using this rig, but up in a park in Ontario, and he would get on and you could get connection with him, and then he said, hang on, and his wife would get on and she'd make a contact. Single station multiple operators. Okay, I'm going to give you a demonstration now. So we have a slight pause. And I am going to take a look here and see. Okay. So I'm going to see if you can see this. There's a way for me, I think, to show you. Yeah, okay. No, it's not going to do it. I want to show the desktop. Because I want you to see it start up if I can.
Screen.
Screen.
I'm sorry, where are you? Oh, yeah, there we go. All right. So, when you know it, okay. So you see this thing that's called orb up here. This is how you start your client to connect. You double click on it, but that mostly knew how to do that.
And how did you get orb? How did we get?
Oh, we downloaded it. I'll show you how to do that in a bit. I'm going to give you a demonstration of it, and then I'll show you how you get there. Can you see it coming up now? Okay. So now it's going up to the remotehams.com server, and it's checking out your credentials and seeing what should slap your hand or let you see it. In this situation, patience is a virtue.
We're not very virtuous.
All right, so this is what you see. I'm going to move this out of the way. So this is what the remote ham server is showing you. These are all the stations that you might get on. You can sort them in various orders. That's something we do the class. But I go up here to the search, and we're W4FJ. And Tom, this is whose call sign? Ted. Ted Madison, one of the guys that.
So, hey, Bruce, you can right click that and make that a favorite.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, it is in my machine, but I don't want to, this is Daryl's machine. I don't want to mess with it. Okay, now you double click this and now it's. Well, it says somebody's on it.
I was on it, Bruce. That's just.
Was that you?
That was the AWR home practice.
Right, I need to get this thing out of the way.
If you turn the volume all the way up, you can walk in the gym.
Yes, so one of the things you don't want to do is turn off the Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to go to the lower sideband. That's a little easier. Okay. So down here is a set of memories. And okay, the Windows version was not working, but it is not. Interesting enough, it's not working. So usually when it comes up, you are tuned into the 543 repeater. So I am going to show you how to go to something if you want. If you want to go to a particular frequency, yes. Say that again. Simply note number. Do that click. Down and out. I don't know where you are. To the right. Right. The left. No. A little bit lower. It's in the memories box. Yeah, I can't find numbers down here. All right. Yeah. There you go. Try that. Wow. In my Windows machine at home, won't even load the numbers. There we go. All right, so these are I have some local ones that I have. Usually when you crank, if you double click the memories, there you go. Nice and quiet, okay? So anyway, this is how it usually comes up. Okay, unless somebody just recently been using it. This is the 543. We have the 88 here as well. Okay, you can double click that. You can do the UHF repeaters. One of the things that will sometimes throw you here is if you flip over here and don't turn on tone, and then you click transmit, nothing will happen. Okay, VHF, UHF, you don't have to tune because those antennas are fixed. So W4BRU, transmission test on the 88 repeater. Well, that means I got through, okay? You can also change, so not only do you have the memories down here, but you can move around by picking your bands or actually putting in a particular frequency. So on Monday nights, I go to 3.858 megahertz. And sometimes I find you guys there, right? And sometimes I have to search around. One of the things to notice is you got to set the mode and you got to set the bandwidth. It doesn't do it for you. We're used to having our radios do all this for you. That doesn't happen. Okay. So a couple of things worth doing, particularly if you're going to run HF, is go down through and look at these settings. Sometimes when people have been running digital modes, this will be set at like 30% or something, right? You want it full power. Don't turn up the AF gain. I did that the other day. It means that we spooked one of the housekeeping folks here who was hearing these voices come out of the closet in the middle of the night. So if you turn up the AF gain, that's what happens. There are some other things that we will talk about in the class that you can do to control, how things go. But this is pretty good setting. This is a pretty good setting for squelch, around 17 to 20. It means that you don't squelch the HF, but you do squelch the UHF and VHF. Okay, now I'm here. I'm going to tune. If you can see it clearly up there, when I click tune, the numbers turn red. Okay, that means it's transmitted. Down here, you can specify whether you want to see power, SWR, all that sort of thing. Okay. All right. So the other thing you can do is change bands. So 40 is probably hopping in that, when you think. Okay, this is called a birdie. We have a set of birdies on this machine. We don't know where they're coming from. We suspect they're coming from some digital machinery in the church. One of these days, we'll get Brewer over here with his one of his magic machines and figure out where it is. But in any case, if you get the birdie and you click automatic noise notch filter, it'll usually take it out. Now, if you listen to CW, which are automatic notch feature, you may not hear anything because it'll notch out the CW, right? All right. The other way you can do it is you can change the frequencies to. So the way to do that, could you all, you probably can't see me anyway. You use the mouse. You lay it over the thing you want, and you use the mouse wheel. And when you find any heavy stuff on here, I will let's see if we can find, maybe get a VK station on here or something. Make a contact. The birdie is every, I think, 35 or 40 kilohertz, something like that. I mentioned something.
It's a lot of dollars on 40 meters. That's not worth it.
That's, yeah, it is kind of noisy.
That's what I get on video.
I'm going to say it's interesting that you got S9. That's what I'm fighting here with my antenna in the attic. This WB4 DES, Dave.
I got a high signal noise on 75 meters myself.
Okay, well, I've shown you enough to that. I just want to give you a demonstration of what it looks like. When you get done with it, you go up here and you say disconnect. And again, you can look at all these stations, see if it's something you want, and then you shut it down with an exit. Okay, so that shows you the so to get going with it, you sign up for the remote software. You go to remotehams.com, and they have it. It's a very friendly process to go through. When you do it, use your call sign. This whole thing works on call signs. If you use anything else with your user ID, you'll find that you get nowhere. And then pick out a password you want to use. Then you download the software. It's available for almost anything in Windows, including all the way back to XP. So you can use that. There's a nice manual out there if you want that. Now there's an Android option, and I will demonstrate that in a couple of minutes. I've got an Android tablet with me. It does not work on iPhones or, well, it theoretically work on Mac if you run Windows on a Mac. The guys who said they've got it running under Wine with Linux, I have not bothered with that. And I ought to, because I got a Linux machine, but I have one old Windows machine. I got to use it every so often to remember how.
Yeah, so the Windows Phone is free. Android is like $10.
$10, yeah.
And frankly, it's worth it.
Yeah, it is. And then what you do is you log in, which you kind of didn't see me do because I had my stuff already on there. But your username and password, then you can have it saved. So every time you crank it up and go into it, it comes right up as you saw. The station is W4FJ. And again, you can make that your favorite, so it always comes up the top every time you log in. And then I showed you the various buttons. You can key this thing in, or you can pick it. you can pick a band. I always check the sliders to see where the last person who used it left things. I have found a few surprises from time to time, particularly someone who's been doing digital, they may leave it at the low power sort of thing. Or if you want to do digital, you want to take it down. Besides using the mouse wheel that you see here, if you happen to be using something in which like what do they call it? The touchpad, you can just go up and click these little up and down arrows and make it go up and down that way. You can also spin this thing around, this knob, but I've always found that more trouble than it's worth.
And if you've got a lot of extra cash, you can buy an Elcraft K0 remote control head.
Yeah,
And you can plug that into your computer and it'll work all of this stuff for you.
that's right.
Really?
Yes.
Is that like a rotary encoder? That thing or more?
No, it's like a K3 head. It's like, it's
yeah.
just the body. It's the front panel, all the buttons, everything, it all works.
When I teach the digital class, the thing you do is you learn how to hook it up to your logger and your digital units, and basically you tell it's K3, and there's some things on there that you use that you tell it, okay, it's a K3. The other thing you have to do is you have to have what are called virtual audio cables, so that you have audio from software to software. In Linux and Android, it's automatic, but you got to buy it for Windows. Okay.
You can get free ones.
Yeah, there is a free one. Yeah.
You can get two for free.
Yeah, the advantage of the one you pay for is that you can have on one audio stream and two outputs. And there was something I was using it for that was useful. I forgot what it was. But yeah, if you want to do simple stuff, it does another one. Yeah. Okay. The biggest thing I think when you crank up an HF band is to make sure to set the sideband, set the filter. Generally, the preamp off works better. The problem with the preamp is it amplifies the noise as well as the signal, but there are times when it can be useful. Yeah, tuning, make sure you tune. Don't forget to tune. You got to tune. The other thing is the transmit button, which is this TXD, is a toggle. First time you press it, you transmit, you got to press it again to go back to receive. Look at the filters. We talked a little bit about the remote stuff. You can set up your own remotes. I have some. But that's something to teach in the class. Okay. So I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm going to show you the Android demonstration. But just quickly, this is an illustration of the Android tablet and phone. You don't have all the buttons quite there for you, so you have to learn. You have to use a menu and go down into it a little bit. What I'm going to do at this point is stop sharing and get my Android tablet out. And I specifically got an Android tablet as opposed to Windows because I wanted to be able to do this. And when I go on vacation or I go down to visit the kids, that sort of thing, I take this with me and I talk to Richard from time to time. And if I get this deep desire to talk to somebody and now it's getting great. I mean, every afternoon I figure, well, yeah, before I get out to work on supper, I'll see if there's anybody on the air. And so I don't know. The other day I got on and tried goofing around and talked to Belarus, and then today I was talking to a couple of folks at a POTUS site in Ontario. And I think that's kind of fun.
Was that with this unit?
No, this is mine.
Hey, Sonny.
We're coming along here, folks.
Oh, Bruce, one thing
Yes.
I'm just going to mention, if the person wants to do the search and they can't remember our call sign, just remember our club, RARC, works fine.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's a search.
Yeah, you could search it, that thing.
But just know that all of those stations that are on that list, almost everybody who publishes lets you use it.
Yeah,
It's a very open community. And so if you want to test the station that you have at home and see whether or not you're making it to California, find a station in California, connect up and see if you can hear yourself. I mean, that's a very common use case. And the people that publish these things, they're pretty decent about it. You know, they'll tell you it's open to the public, or hey, it's a club thing.
The other thing is that you can upload a copy of your license. And there are a few people who want to see a copy of your license. If you want to use the radio, we have to ask permission. And if they can see a copy of your license, is okay. When you sign up for this remote hands, I've heard people say they waited 5 minutes to get authorized. I had people say they waited a day. They do check you out a little bit. Okay, so on the tablet, let's see how much of this you can see. You probably can't see much of it. But there's that same form thing on here, right? And okay, so it comes up, and the first thing you get is that same list that you saw on the PC, and come on, boy, come on, there we go. Sounds like I'm talking to my cat. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
Is it a first come, first serve, and is there a time limit? So is that somebody doesn't hog the use of it?
There is a chat capability on there. And what you do with the chat capability is you say, usually there's not much competition, frankly, I haven't seen much, but I've gotten on there where someone was doing something and I just sent him a chat note and said, how long do you expect to be on? And he said, I got about another 5 minutes to be done with this and that. So I just hung in there and listened, and then he signed off and I get on. Also, sometimes you get on with somebody else and you do the one station multiple operators. Okay, so I must have left it at 3.657. So that's what we've got. So what's different about, can you guys see this? Okay. What's different about the Android sort of thing is that when you go, when you need to see those sliders to make sure that they're set right, you got to push a menu button, and the menu button says frequencies, buttons and frequencies, which is what we're looking at, then drop downs, then sliders. There's a place for a rotator, amplifier, that sort of thing. We don't have a rotator or anything, that's so we're okay. But the sliders are the thing we talked about. You got to get your levels for your RF, that sort of thing. You have to hit the slider button. And then frequencies and buttons are what you use. You got a tune on here, all that sort of thing. You've got memories. Okay, I'm going to the local repeater. So it works just like the other one did, except that you sometimes have to use the menu and bounce around in some other places. But it works just fine. It's
also super low bandwidth. I mean, like,
yes,
super compressed. You can run on data for days and you're not chewing through your data plan at all. It is super efficient.
And the other thing about it is it works well when you have a kind of mediocre Wi-Fi thing.
Yep.
When I go with the kids to the beach, there's a place that we go to, and if I stand in this end of this room, okay, I get some Wi-Fi, and it isn't very, and it isn't very good, but that thing will do it. So, but something else I want to show. The other thing you can do with any of these, if people are saying you're making too much noise or you can't hear well, you can use a set of the earplug you use on a tablet with a little microphone on it. You can plug those in and you're just fine. On the Windows computer that I use, this is a gaming headset. Okay, here's the microphone. You plug that sucker into either a USB cable or a microphone and speaker, and I mean it works like a charm. When we were in the bad part of propagation, and I got an 80-meter net, sometimes, that thing would begin to fade. That's one of the interesting things. That's one of the first times I have heard the grayscale, the gray line work. About 9 o'clock at night, we'd be having our net, and you begin to hear that. We had to shut down at 9 because it was shutting us down, whether we want to or not. For some parts of it, I put the headset on and could do just fine. So this will work if you got a computer and you can use a little ear pods, a little microphone. You can. So this is great. I mean, I go on the road with this and continue to do that sort of thing. And as I say, I haven't had much of an issue with with a lot too many people on it at the same time. Okay, let's see. Anything else I want to show you? You might have some questions. Let's see if there's anything else I want to show you that's in that presentation. Are you asking if it was D-Star or not? We don't have the D-Star module in this one.
It doesn't have a mod, you don't set it up.
Yeah, so it is capable of doing it, but it's the same thing. Because D-Star, you have to assign a call sign dynamically, and you can't program that through the camera. So we just keep that mode disabled.
Okay, I'll show you how to disconnect. Okay. And the two people who try to keep this thing going are Ken Leiter and me, so you can send us an email or a phone call.
And
And
blue on blue, is that your email?
we don't really want you to send us an email, so we make it so you can't read it.
It's like white on white font.
That's right. Everybody in the world is sending out now white backgrounds with a light gray font. They don't know about us older people with our, anyway. All right, so let me shut this down and see if you get any questions.
N4WLC, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
One of the practices I try to do when I'm tuning up is if I'm on a station, I will take and move up 3 up or 3 down to tune. So I'm not tuning right up on somebody. Would you suggest doing that on this as well?
It's probably, yeah, you can do that, but it's a really short tune. I mean, you push the button and it comes up and down immediately. So, I mean, I was talking to, I've forgotten where this guy was today. He was someplace I wanted to hit in Europe. I've forgotten. Oh, he was down in Hamburg, Germany. And I wanted to contact him. And there was some jerk on there. He was just tuning and tuning and tuning. And I mean, besides the pilot, people want to talk to this guy in Germany. This guy kept tuning and tuning and tuning and just drive you crazy. So, but this thing, when you hit it, it's within 2 seconds maybe.
I sometimes wonder if they do that just to drive everybody else away so they can get that contact, because it's too obnoxious to be just tuning or just an accident.
Well, the rumor in the ham radio community is the Italians, so that's. Rick, you had a question?
Does it tune in 160 meters?
Yes. I think we could do 160, can't we?
It'll do 160.
Yeah, I
was just curious, I don't know whether there's a way in the software to look at what bands people use. And the point of my question is, if people are not using the warp bands that much, and then halfway, since you're gonna take the antenna down anyway, you could probably use that on 80, 40, 20, 15, and 10 without a tuner, or use a tuner less off.
The problem we've got is that the reason we use the long wire is putting the antenna up and getting it spent. I mean, we're going off of the center post in the middle of the gym, across a peak that is insulated, and then over open space, making the right angle.
It does, you could do that with an infet. It would only be 30 feet longer. You can even drop one in there if you want. I'm just saying that. Now, the problem with those depends on how you design them. Because let's say, for example, if you want to design it for the CW portion of 80 meters, or I should say, you want to design it for 75 meters, it's going to be too high a frequency for the other ones, the harmonically related ones. But those antennas are fairly broadband. So what I'm saying is, if you designed it, say, for the middle of 80 meters, it might be harmonically okay on most of the others.
You know, this is an AH4 tune.
Yeah, I know that. What I'm saying is no need for a tuner. It'll obviate the need for tuning because it's resonant on the fundamental and harmonics. and end fed halfway.
Okay.
If people didn't use the WARP bands, they're not harmonically related.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, Bruce,
Yes.
this is Jim, W4PKR.
Yes, Jim.
When you say that that we can operate multiple operators, you're not saying at the same time, are you?
Yeah,
To listen.
well, what you do, it's like you were sitting side by side in your home station, right?
Okay,
You got two guys sitting side by side, same microphone, same radio, and you just swap back and forth. It's what this couple was doing up in the park in Ontario. Only you're doing it, you got two computers kind of side by side, same thing though. So
okay,
what you do is swap back and forth. You know what? Like he came on, he was a VE2 station, and he gave his call sign, and I, yeah, you're 5-7, that sort of thing.
To give you a better answer for this question, there's one person who's in charge of the transmitter, but any other number of other people can listen.
right,
Only one person can push the transmit button.
yeah,
That's not
Okay.
true.
It is.
gotcha.
No, I don't think so.
I think there's say someone in
Huh?
Yeah, it's just one.
Oh, what?
You sign off,
Only one person gets to press the tier.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you can't do multiple operators.
Well, you have to relinquish control to the other operator. You can't do
But you have to log out. But you have to log out. to do that.
Yes, with your call, it'll say.
Hang on. He knows what to do.
Yeah, I don't think you have to log out.
Okay.
I think you can.
Have you tried it?
There's a take control button.
That's what I'm referring to the take control bar, but okay.
Ah,
But I think
Okay.
it says if you let go, it says W4BRU no longer controls at least.
Correct.
Okay, well, I haven't experimented with that, so we'll have to give it a try and see. So if somebody wants to try it, we'll rig it up and see, give it a try.
Yeah, but you have multiple listeners, up to 50 people. can
Okay.
be On the thing, waiting in a queue, whatever, but one person has control, transmit control over it.
Okay,
And you
Well,
can
I've seen the
you can-
control
you can
operator.
request it, and,
Yeah.
the control op can relinquish it, and then the requester can take control, and you can just swap back and forth
okay.
if you want to.
Oh, we need to try that. I have not tried it on this station. All right, okay, so, yeah,
My question was, you mentioned that after a while, you would have it be tuned to like a particular station whenever you would start it up, unless someone else is using it prior. Is there like a cooldown before it will go back to a default tuning mode? Or does it just stay wherever the last person left it and until it like restarts?
it seems to stay where the last person left it. For a while, it used to go back.
So.
It used to
there's a
go back.
default setting where with timeout and after a certain amount of activity, it go back to the default memory setting. I don't know whether it does happen to change that, but it's a configuration setting. It says,
Yes.
After the default timeout, just go back to this memory and load it from there. The other thing is the 7100, you can turn off the speaker at the control head. So regardless of that, you need to go into the 7100 control settings and disable the onboard speaker.
Well, it turns out if you turn up the AF control here, it comes out of there.
No, it's a different setting. It's a memory setting
Oh, okay,
inside of the 7100
okay.
control set, right? You
Well,
can
we
disable
had it so we could hear it, and then when we got debugged,
diagnosing
but I
problem,
don't see wrong.
but then you gotta remember to turn it back off or.
Yeah, well, we turned down the volume on remotely. After spooking the people here, we turned it down, so,
Well, yeah, just you go turn it off.
So any other questions?
We didn't realize that the manual control happened. On control. So we learned it all the way up.
Yeah, we can set it, that's fine.
Bruce, this is Debbie. I've got a question. Can you put that material you were showing us on the website, the club website? So we can.
I could do that, Deb, if you sent me something to W4BRU@ARL.net, because I won't remember tomorrow morning.
Okay. I hope I remember tomorrow morning.
Well, you can do it tonight, you could just send it, it'll work. Any other
Comment?
questions? Yes.
On two, does it drop the output power or is it?
Yeah, I think I looked at it when I was 36 watts,
I think it drops it to like 10.
10 watts, yeah.
It's just a regular AH4.
Yeah,
So it drops it to like 10, does it tune, and it's pretty quick.
yeah, it really is quick.
But, I mean, it is a tight, anytime you're moving a few kilohertz, you want to tap it.
Well, I asked that question because my iPhone does that automatically when I hit the tune. And I'm piggybacking on Bill's question because he was talking about tuning off so that you didn't disrupt, but it's 10 watts at 2 seconds. It really-
Yeah, it does. I don't think it's.
Because it memorizes this thing. So once it's got it built into memory, it's more clear, it knows how to set it. And enough people have gotten into the pattern. I mean, I'm sure it's loaded, you know, a few hundred memories of where it needs to jump real fast and then it might use.
So we'll follow.
Yeah, well, it follows whoever uses the system and everybody's on 80/40 and they're going to their favorite spots. And the thing's like, I've been here a million times. Shoot, I know how to jump it right real quick. And then if it's wet, you know, it'll bounce.
So anybody else?
Yeah, Bruce.
Yes.
I just wanted to remind everybody, because of the church where we're at, Sunday morning, just I think 2 minutes before 8 a.m. till 1 o'clock, the site is down.
They have this funny thing. They don't want RF going into their video system during the service. I don't know why they've got that attitude, but they do, so.
It's God's way.
Oh, it sounds that way. wouldn't it? This is the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Comment?
You couldn't just build a big Faraday cage around their equipment so we can just keep going.
No, I think we don't need to do that. So anything else people got?
Comment?
Yes, sir.
It's more of a question. I was wondering if you could just put a speaker jack into there with no speaker hooked up to it, and that would eliminate any possibilities of any audio coming out.
No, we can set it up there. I'm sure when we were doing all the diagnostics, which it seemed like we were ever here every 3 days. We had that on so we could hear what was going on, and we forgot to do the setting. We can actually force it off inside the control settings of the 7100.
Very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Bruce.
Anything else?
Thanks a lot, Bruce.
Oh, one
Thanks a
more.
lot,
Yes.
Bruce.
Hang on.
This guy was started with this, how big a computer do you have to start with?
Nothing, anything.
If it'll run Windows, I know people who. Yeah, well, on Android, any kind of Android tablet will work. Android phone will work. I know one guy who got a little Windows netbook or something that runs Windows.
I had one of those, but I was thinking,
Works fine. Well, I mean, it's very easy to test too. All you have to do is go out to remote hams, sign up for it, download it, give it a shot. You'll know in probably 20 minutes.
It's free.
Yeah, the Windows part is free. $10 for the Android. The other thing, if you do the Android, make sure that you record the information because like I had an Android tablet that rolled over and died and didn't have another one for a while. And I got a new one and realized I hadn't saved the sales information. So I had to pay for it again. But as long as you keep it, and then I subsequently got another Android tablet, and that time I just passed the license over. It's $10. I mean, as ham radio goes, I mean, that isn't even a fancy coffee.
So does it know what the class of license of the operator is? It limits you to the,
Well, it doesn't know it, but Ken told it.
okay,
So what it does, he puts in, there's a table of frequencies.
okay.
So for your call sign, it's a table of frequencies that are the ones that your license allows. So if you
Question.
upgrade, you got to make sure you let us know because you're going to be in whatever your prior license restrictions are until you tell us. And then we upgrade the thing. And we want to see your license and we'd like to see it signed in blood, please.
One
Another
thing,
question.
I was
Yes.
just gonna make a comment about the license.
Yes.
Every once in a while, I will go out to the FCC and pool and I update your license if it has been upgraded. So if you go from general to extra, I'll handle that automatically. But if you're wanting it very timely, send an email and we'll make the adjustments. I'll check with the FCC to make sure that you're not. We gotta wait for it to be in the database. That's it.
Thank you, Ken.
Another question.
Sure.
If you set it to the settings to say single sideband, would it prevent you from transmitting on CW?
Settings.
Well, yeah, I mean, how would you say, how would you send a, how would you do CW? You do CW using a key, right? Well, if you use FL Digi or something like that, where you keyboard it, yeah, I think you gotta set it to CW.
I think you might be referencing the mode setting that we saw on the top left of like the
Yeah,
actual weight.
I got you.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would do, how you would transmit CW and SSB.
Question.
Into the input.
The answer is you don't know.
Yeah.
Like you could just theoretically, this, since it's two tones, and you could play the two tones as long as it's compliant with whatever the receiving end is. It's the same thing
Yeah,
like you see.
so I mean, ultimately, you can flip it into the single sideband mode, and you can do all digital modes. And so Chris, I forget his call, came whatever. He worked all state at home without an HF break. He did all of it digital through that system we just saw, all of it. Worked all states. It took me forever to real rig of my own, and I was angry about it, you know, but I'm like, it can be done, and he did it with all digital modes, and they were on the work bands too.
Hey,
So-
Bill, it's simple. You just put it in sideband and you sit there and into your mic, you just go dee, 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 dee.
Very good.
KO4RNT.
Yes,
The website is remoteham.com or .org or,
I think it's .com, isn't it?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Put in remote hams and see, and you know, it'll tell you one way or the other.
okay,
If it shows
thank
me,
you.
it's the wrong one.
It's got what, naked people? Yeah, well, it might be the wrong one for some people, other people would say, yeah, that's what I want. Anyone else?
John put up in the chat to remind everybody about their dues. I think it's November, what was it? November 1st. I have to go back and double check, but dues are coming due.
Yeah,
And
dues are
November,
coming due. I'll send out something to everybody. And
Huh?
for the remote hams, it's remotehams1word.com.
Oh, Ken? I'm an extra now. You can check that if you want.
Okay,
Ken, will you need an email from me to let you know that I don't have to pay the dues?
yeah. I still like an email from the people who are lifetime members and don't pay dues. Basically, that just reminds me that you're still alive.
Yeah,
I am.
year.
I know.
Every year I get a message from IEEE saying, we need to renew your membership, 0 cost, are you still alive? And that's how it works.
Yeah, basically when, yeah, can't remember the former guy. He used to read the obituaries and would somewhat discover when people had died. I don't waste my time. I don't subscribe to a paper. So I instituted that the lifetime members who do not pay dues have to still send the renewal notice, but you don't have to pay any money. So
You get to be a lifetime member by turning 80 years of age, so.
Let me just say, there are some lifetime members, and I'm looking at one in the top left corner who I believe still pays dues even though he doesn't have to. So we want to recognize those people.
yeah,
So
some
we get
people
a
do that, but it's
How do we do that?
Mac. You're in the upper left-hand corner, so that's who they were talking about. That
We're talking about K4YEF.
yeah.
I don't know, I have an issue, why, because I'm over 80, why am I exempt? I never understood that.
Because you deserve it.
It used to be,
Not really.
you made that 80 rule and no one lived that long, so you're okay, right? So
I'm gonna donate this year, but I feel like kind of freeloading on the club here, and to me. that's
John?
like-
No,
John?
you're not.
Yeah.
You've earned every bit of that just from sticking with the ham radio for so long. That's all.
All right, that's all right.
John, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm done with my presentation. if, I usually do a seminar once a year. If people want to do one, want me to do one, go through all the stuff, send me an email note if we get enough people interested, I'll crank one up. But it's gonna cost you $10. We can't, gotta take care of this club now, so.
Okay.
And
All
I'm
right,
done.
thanks. All right, thank you, Bruce, for the presentation and
Yes.
everything you did on it. We appreciate seeing that. Okay, everybody, thank you all. I want to say that it's been a pleasure being your president for the last 3 years. And I'm glad it's being turned over to good people, and I'll look forward to being the tag along board member this time.
Thank you for your service, John.
Thanks, John.
Good, John.
Great president.
Thank you.
Thank you.